Yo, what's up, everybody? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know I usually talk politics, but I'm a big hip hop head as well, especially battle rap. But growing up, I grew up on hip hop. I remember when I was 5, I had my brother run DMC. Had I was behind the turntables, even though I didn't know how to mix. Of course, I was 5, so I'm huge on hip hop. And it seems like everybody is up in arms about this list that came out, the 50 greatest rappers. It had Joe Budden at number 3. The list was all fucked up, right? But I don't know why everybody is so mad at it. Like, first of all, who's the people that made the list? Secondly, it's subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got different tastes. It depends on what regions you from. It depends where you at in your life, what touched you specifically. It seems like the thing that people have the problem with is Joe Button being number 3. Now, I agree, Joe Button shouldn't be at number 3 on the best rapper list of all time. I wouldn't be mad at somebody having Joe Button as their personal favorite rapper or number 3 or whatever, because a lot of people don't really know Joe Button music. Um, I was talking to somebody the other day, and most people just know Pump It Up. They might have heard Fire. They might have heard one or two Joe Budden songs. Maybe they heard Pump It Up and a few of his diss tracks to Drake, which Joe Budden made about 1,000 when that was going on or whatever. But, most people is not familiar with Joe Budden catalog. I was explaining to people that Joe Budden got a classic mixtape series, Mood Music. So if you never heard Mood Music 2, Mood Music 3, or Mood Music 4, you're missing out. Um, it won't be for everybody because, like, when I heard Mood Music 2, when I first heard Mood Music 2, right? I was in the military. I didn't like being in the military at the time. So that type of real, like, music, talking about, like, depression, just talking about everyday regular problems was new to hip hop because, like, in my opinion, Joe was one of the only rappers to really talk about the struggle from the average man perspective. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about regular, everyday struggles that you can relate to. Some people won't like it because some of the music was kind of depressing, excuse me. But it's a good catalog. It definitely is. You can't deny Joe Button lyrical skill, but so and the reason why these lists are so hard, if you're not familiar with the music that people are making, how can you make a judgment? You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard. The only thing I will say is impact have to be there if you're gonna make uh greatest rappers list and not your personal favorites. It should be a different. Joe Button just didn't have the impact musically to be that high on the list. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people going to disagree, especially with that ranking. I have more of a problem with Fabulous being number 6 than Joe Budden being number 3, just because Fabulous is a good lyricist. He was one of those rappers that had good punchlines, along with Banks. But I never really felt a Fabulous album like that. Like his albums never really touched me personally. I know I might be an outlier in that. Maybe y'all disagree, but I don't know. Y'all let me know. What was Fabulous' best work? It could be an album or a mixtape. What do you think his best work was? Because I know his first album, Ghetto Fabulous, I was disappointed with. Street Dreams was okay. He had a few good mixtapes. He had Losa Way, and it was another mixtape he had that I had back in the day. I can't remember the name of it right now. It was cool, but Fab never been like one of my favorite rappers, although he's nice. And again, if Fab is your personal favorite, because I knew people back in the day that had Fab like in their top 5, I had no problem with it. To me, that's not outrageous, but again, if you're talking the greatest of all time list, you can't. I mean, in my opinion, he's not top 10. But this is all opinion based, it's all subjective. I'm not gonna go crazy over nobody's opinion. Age have something to do with it. I'm gonna be partial to people I grew up on, so I'm always partial to Jay, I'm partial to Nas, Pac, Big, um, Prodigy, those type of rappers I grew up on. So I always give them more credit because their music affected me a little bit more. That's who I listened to growing up. Even though I was young when Ice Cube was in his prime, but even Cube, you know what I'm saying? Going back and listening to Death Certificates, America Most, even though the beats is a little bit outdated to today's standard, the stuff that Cube was talking about at the time, was groundbreaking. So don't get up in arms about these lists, because you can ask 100 different people, there's going to be 100 different opinions. There's people that think Jay-Z is the GOAT, and there's a lot of people that think Jay-Z is overrated. You know, I think Jay-Z being overrated is crazy personally. Jay's one of the best rappers of all time, in my opinion. But again, this is all opinion based. By the way, Nas is my favorite rapper of all time, just to be clear. But again, it's opinion based. Don't get up in arms about these. It's a fun little discussion. And it might have been a troll list on top of that, you know. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. And let me know some underrated rappers that don't get the respect they deserve. Do Scarface get the respect that he deserves? Let me know. Some of the older rappers back in the day in the 80s, I was born in the 80s, mid 80s. Um, and a lot of those 80 rappers that was in their prime, I was too young for it. Do they get the proper respect? And how can we actually judge it if you didn't grow up in that time period? Like how do we do this? That's why I think some of these top 10 lists are a little bit silly, or top 50 lists, whatever. It's gonna be silly because it's based upon your experiences at the time. But that's all I gotta say. Peace.